Receptionist looked down on me, not knowing I own the hotel chain. I, 36 years old, own a hotel chain that I've grown after my father passed it down to me in my late 20s. I've expanded through other states and put my locations near highways and near tourist spots. I have multiple managers from different states that manages my hotels, and I visit each one of them throughout the year. After my wife recently gave birth to my youngest, I decided to take my family on a road trip. My wife and I always love to drive instead of flying because she gets anxiety from flying. I wanted my wife to relax after her pregnancy and decided to do a road trip to go to the beach in Florida we always loved to go to. The trip was long, but we didn't get irritated and had fun with our kids and our newborn. I decided to stop at my hotels while we traveled from state to state. To me, I could spend time with my family while checking up on my hotels so I didn't have to check on them again after a couple of months. After hours of driving, I thought we would stop at my hotel in Alabama and stay there. We arrived there at 3 p.m. and went to the counter where the receptionists were. The receptionist looked up from her computer, and I could tell that her expression was uninterested as she spotted us approaching. I asked the receptionist if I could have 2 adjoining rooms with a view if possible, trying to maintain a cheerful demeanor despite being tired and annoyed from the long drive. Without looking up from her screen, she already had an attitude and replied if I had a reservation. No, I didn't make a reservation, I admitted. We decided to stop here on a whim as part of the road trip tradition, I said, laughing, trying to make the mood lighter. The receptionist's demeanor didn't change and she let out the biggest sigh, while her eyes met mine with a disinterest and mild irritation. Well, without a reservation, I can't guarantee anything special. It's busy season, you know. I looked at her and apologized, telling her that she was right and that I should have made a reservation. She let out another sigh while shaking her head and muttered something underneath her breath. I noticed it and asked her if she had a problem, while smiling. Her eyes widened, maybe she got caught off guard by my question. She seemed to realize she had let her frustration slip, but instead of apologizing, she straightened up. It's just that we have a lot of guests coming through, and it's hard to accommodate everyone's request without proper planning, she replied with a defensive tone. She continued by saying, and you guys decide to come here without any reservation is being inconsiderate for the people who work here. I was shocked about what I was hearing, but I maintained my smile and told her that I completely understood. I told her that she was just doing her best to manage because of this busy season and she's probably tired. I understood that it was wrong for me to not call a reservation, but I was already being treated like shit in front of my family. I took a deep breath, trying to remain composed despite the surge of frustration. I felt like this interaction had taken a turn for the worse, and I needed to handle it delicately, especially since my family was standing beside me. I didn't want to cause any commotion. I appreciate your honesty, I said, my tone measured. And I apologize for any inconvenience our stop may have caused. I asked if she had any other rooms available and she replied that she only had 1 room, but it wasn't 2 adjoining rooms and didn't have a view. I told her that we'll take it. As we paid for the hotel, she gave the card to the room and I told my wife to go ahead with the kids, and I'll catch up with them. As my family began to walk away, I looked at the receptionist again, who was still uninterested. You know, I began with a calm voice. I've been in the hospitality business for quite some time now. The receptionist, still looking at her computer, ignored me and didn't respond. I was in disbelief and I had enough.
You can check if there's a part 2 by pressing share and more.